Good morning, everybody. Today we don't have my brother here, so it's me doing the intro for the first time. What a weird experience. And over to my left is my beautiful sister-in-law, Kalisha. This is Yanni's fiance. Say good morning,
everybody.
Cal. Yeah.
Good morning.
So Cal is our resident expert on all things female fitness and also nutrition. She's studied precision nutrition, haven't you, with John Berardi?
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So she's not a nutritionist, but in the fitness industry, the precision nutrition course is pretty highly regarded, isn't it?
It's highly valued.
Yeah, it's a really good course, and you learn a hell of a lot. What would you say? It's like one step below being, studying nutrition.
Maybe I wouldn't go that far, but it's definitely a step above what you get in
what you get just doing being a personal trainer.
I've only done level 1. Level 2 is a whole
nother level.
Probably more closer to a nutritionist degree.
She knows more about nutrition than I do. The only thing I know more about is maybe having been in the industry for longer than Kalisha. But yeah, she knows her stuff. So, how are you feeling today, Cal?
Yeah, feeling good, thank you. Yeah, very good. How about yourself?
I'm feeling good. Had a really good morning today.
I see we coordinated our colours very nicely.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, coordinated. You got to do it.
You gotta do it.
I actually did my hair today, even though it looks like crap, but I did it. So today, hot topic, hot off the press. After we talked about our intermittent fasting, I can't remember exactly what we were talking about yesterday to do with intermittent fasting, but Yanni had so many emails come through.
Yes.
A lot of people talking about, asking a lot of questions about nutrition, and we seem to have ruffled the vegans' feathers again by my one comment on vegans and veganism, and even the carnivore diet. And so today's topic is all about the carnivore diet versus the vegan diet.
Yeah.
So ready to jump in. So I will. I'll get started here. So. The interesting thing about this is I've got to learn to talk to this camera. The interesting thing about this is that when people go vegan or people go on the carnivore diet, they both seem to report a massive change in their health. So people are, they're going from. I find it weird talking to the camera. I'm going to talk to you. It's fucking weird. So they go from. Saying, I felt like crap, I felt this, I felt that, I could never lose weight, I had no energy, and I've discovered this amazing new diet, and now all I eat is vegetables, or all I eat is meat, and now I feel amazing, all my health problems are solved, you should do it too.
Yeah.
And what's really amazing is that here's the disclaimer, do not tell me to quote any research, because I'm not going off research papers here. What I'm going off is personal experience and what we've seen. But we've got friends that have gone vegan and we've got friends that have gone carnivore, and they both report the same thing. They both say it's the best thing they've ever done. Everybody in the world needs to do it. They feel amazing. Yet they couldn't sit on more opposite ends of the spectrum.
They're so different in
so many ways. It's the literal opposite thing. One of them is only eating meat and you're not eating any vegetables at all, which we'll talk about the insanity of that in a minute.
Yep.
And the other one is you're only eating vegetables and you're not eating meat at all. So the truth is, how can it be the diet that's causing these health changes? And what we are here to talk about today is that in our opinion, it's not the diet that's causing the health change, it's the change from what you used to be eating that's causing the change.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you look at a typical Western diet, what's it filled with? It's filled with processed foods, it's filled with refined carbohydrates, very high in sugar, and, people struggle to even get, the 5 and 2 recommendations of vegetables and fruits each day. And then you look at what that kind of diet does to the body. It increases inflammation, it increases weight, of course, it creates fatigue, it does a lot to the body. And so when these people go from this very high inflammatory diet of the typical Western diet, and then they go to a vegan or even a carnivore diet, which is I don't like the carnivore diet at all, but we'll go after that. But they're going from they're just switching it up for their body, and their body has a chance to go from this one inflammation extreme to being able to actually get nutrients again from
that's
the
right.
foods that we're giving
That's right.
it.
Yeah. And, I would argue that people that have these amazing transformations from going vegan or going carnivore, that if they just cut all the shit out of their diet, that it, that they'd have the same transformation.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, like, but I only heard about the carnivore diet really recently. I'd never even heard of it before. And we'll go into that in, a little bit later. But, vegans have been around for a very long time. And, one of the great things about the vegan diet is, among many other great things, is that it causes you to immediately just look at all the shit that you eat.
Yeah.
You immediately, oh no, I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, and I can't. And you just remove so much junk. And what are you left with? You're left with, fruits and nuts and vegetables, which is all healthy, of course.
And legumes. And
Yeah. And so, one of the biggest arguments I hear from vegans about why it's so healthy is they use these studies on Americans, where they talk about how Americans have been completely obese, 1 foot in the grave, and they go vegan, and all their health changes. And I say, like, kind of, well, duh. I mean, these are people that were living on the worst diet in the world, eating the lowest quality meats, the lowest quality animal products. So it's not the animal products that were the problem, it's the quality of the food.
That's right. And there's also, if you're talking about obese people and weight management, you've also got to think they're going from this very processed diet that is very calorie dense, very calorie dense, and then going to a very nutrient dense.
That's right, with hardly any calories.
Pretty much automatically within just one simple change, halving. Their calorie intake.
Yeah, that's right.
Calorie deficit. Of course, you're going to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you don't know what that means, a calorie dense food, like if you think about the amount of sugar cane that it takes to create a teaspoon of sugar. Now, don't quote me on this, okay, but this is what I've heard, and it sounds about right to me because I have sucked on sugar cane before, but I've heard that it takes about a box of this much sugar cane to be juiced down to create enough sugar syrup that dried out creates 1 teaspoon of sugar. And then when you think that a can of Coke has 44 teaspoons of sugar in it, so the amount of if you try and reverse engineer that, think of the amount of sugar cane it takes to create that. And if you're just eating shit like that all the time, and if you can't even imagine that, or you want to argue that with me, here's something that you can't argue: juice some apples to get an apple juice, and look at how many apples because I can do that at home myself, and I've done it many times. To get a glass of apple juice that big, it takes like about 8 apples. Try to eat 8 apples. Try to do it. Your body rejects it after, like, I've maybe eaten 2 apples, but there's something within your body that says, I've had enough of that. And you might still be hungry, but you want something else. It's just impossible. So when you're eating these refined foods, that's what Cal means by calorie dense foods, because foods, when they're whole foods, they have this balance of fiber in them that is that gives you the food the way that nature intended it to. But when you remove all that fiber, you keep all of the calories, 100% of it. So instead of getting X amount of calories in this much food, you now get the same amount of calories in that much food. And you eat that in one sitting in a snack when you have a Mars bar or something like that. So that's what she's talking about. And you swap that for fruits and vegetables, which are what we say. It's nutrient dense food, but calorie poor food. And
generally, not
all the time. Yeah, we're generalizing here. But so that's that extreme with the with this argument for the vegan diet of that these Americans that lose all this weight.
At the end of the day, weight loss comes down to calorie deficit. And so I think from that point of view, of course, people are going to lose weight. But then you've also got to think about the body's well-being point of view as well. So going to that nutrient dense food and what that does for your body in terms of your digestive system, in terms of your energy, in terms of your skin, your vitality, your sleep, everything like that is affected when you make a drastic change like this. And it's great. Of course you're going to feel amazing when these things happen. I mean, how can you not? And I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
of course.
yeah.
Look, what I want to do, I'm going to probably turn this into the most controversial show that we've ever done, because I'm going to say my honest opinion about veganism, and then I'm going to move on to the carnivore diet, because I'm saving my best for last. But the thing with vegans, I've never met a vegan that doesn't have an agenda, because it's often a moral choice to become a vegan, and I respect that 100%. I've seen the documentaries on Netflix. I've seen the Cowspiracy. I've seen many other things. I've followed Leonardo DiCaprio and his crusade. And there is a part of me that is really in a dilemma. I think, how are we going to fix this problem? But the health benefits of veganism are cherry-picked, in my opinion. They are not what cherry picking means is you've got a pile of studies here that all say this, and this about the health, and it says that if you eat a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet, it's going to do this, and this to you. And cherry picking is where you grab one little piece out of it and say, that supports my argument, so that's what I'm going to write a book about, but I'll forget all of that other stuff that doesn't support my argument. And the truth is, for all the people that we've spoken to that have PhDs and that are nutrition scientists and that know way more about nutrition than anyone that I've met, that are unbiased, that don't have an agenda, they will say that an omnivore diet is the healthiest way to eat.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Veganism, for all the ethical reasons, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that, but I don't know if it is the be all and end all to the nutrition discussion about what is best for us.
And there's a lot of stories of vegans that were really, really experiencing a lot of health problems, and they ate some meat for the first time in years and years, and immediately health problems are gone. So I don't believe veganism is the answer to health problems. But now let's move on to the carnivore diet. And I have to be honest, I'm going to say this straight up. I can't think of a dumber diet that you could do.
There's nothing worse.
I cannot think of anything more stupid, and I'm going to go into the reasons why. The only diet that has ever been proven to fight cancer is a plant-based diet.
That is very true.
And the vegans win that argument hands down. It is the only diet that's ever been proven to fight cancer. Again, I do believe, though, that it's not because it was removing meat completely. It's because when you go vegan, it's all those things that we spoke about before. And I don't think there's been enough studies on that to, I don't know. See, again, the good thing about the vegan diet is that when you do that, when you do something extreme, it forces you to just get rid of everything else. And I think people's willpower is so low.
It also provides a huge amount of antioxidants. And what do antioxidants do? They fight off the free radicals. What do free radicals do?
Damage cells.
That's
and
right.
Cause cancer. Yeah, of course.
So
so vegans, you win that argument, and I'm on there with you. I'm not going to say anything against that, because the writing's on the wall. The other thing is that one of the greatest things that's been linked with bowel cancer is what? Overconsumption of meat. And you are choosing to now eat a diet where all you eat is meat and you don't eat any vegetables. I just can't.
3 times a day as well. It's just insane. I mean, just for us, I listened to a great podcast on this, and just take into consideration this. We all know what it feels like to be constipated, right? Fiber from vegetables creates cellulose, and that's what helps peristalsis, which is literally the massaging of the intestines to get poo through, your stool through. Going on a carnivore diet, you don't get that fiber, and you don't get that peristalsis. So what's it doing? It's just sitting there. And it takes a whole lot more effort to then move it through. I mean, I don't know many carnivore diet-based people, and I don't know what their bowel movements are like, of course, but looking at the anatomy of it, it doesn't make sense that you'll have a healthy bowel eating just meat, eggs, and some nuts. I mean, it's insane.
It's and I mean, I'm still so perplexed by that in this day and age, with the amount of research that we've had on, what good health is and what healthy eating is, that people would choose to do something like this. Like, it just seems so silly to me. Look, I mean, what keeps ringing through into my head is this argument against bowel cancer. You know, it's been so clearly linked to bowel cancer. You know, high consumption of meat, and we've been told for a long time to minimise our consumption of red meat because of bowel cancer, and definitely processed meats. And I don't even feel like we need to spend much time talking about the health concerns or benefits of a carnivore diet, because it just seems so absurd to me. So let's move on to the one that by a long shot stands out to me the most, which is the ethical issues with the carnivore diet. Like, I mean, in all honesty, so, you know, I get what vegans are preaching. I really get it. And I really agree with it. I want to turn the damage to our planet around. And I honestly feel that I won't say I do my best, because I certainly don't. I could do more. But I definitely live a life that is conscious of my impact. I look at the amount of meat that I eat. I eat, like a palm-sized portion of meat and a hell of a lot of vegetables on my plate. I only eat 2 meals a day, so I'm not just gorging myself. I avoid getting foods that are wrapped in plastics and things like that. I never put vegetables and stuff in those plastic bags at the supermarket. We use reusable bags now. I was at the front cheering when Woolworths and Coles did that. So, vegans, I think you're really onto something good there, and I respect you for your moral decisions. But what are the carnivores thinking? Like, do you think that the world should eat this way? You're raving about it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. So are we going to feed 8 billion people solely on animal products when we've got these overfishing problems that we've got, and we've got these cows farting in the atmosphere problems? Well, if it's true,
it's so true. Yeah. You know,
like, fucking hell. And in another, I mean, I don't even know the statistics, but like, we're going to see a doubling of the world's population in our lifetime. In a very short time, apparently, we're going to have, like, in the scheme of things, like in the next couple of decades, we're going to have 15 billion people. Like they're already talking about making what do they call it? Meat in a lab, like genetically engineered meat, because we can't sustain meat production, animal product production. So, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And there's a funny way to look at it as well. If you think about an actual primal kind of carnivore, it's like a lion.
Yeah.
Look at their teeth, their digestive system's much shorter than ours, and then you look at us.
Yeah.
Do we have fangs? Do we have huge incisors to bite into something? So if, like, going back in time, if without any tools, without any like claws, like nothing that we have in our modern age to help us, could you see yourself hunting something down and just taking a bite?
Yeah.
You know,
that's the thing. I love that when I listened to that podcast yesterday by that guy
and
as well.
another thing he says is that, a carnivore animal would see roadkill and start salivating and be like, yes, I'm going to eat that.
Yeah.
Are you going to eat that?
Yeah.
Do you see a roadkill and say, that's so delicious?
Yeah, that's what carnivores do. If a carnivore sees a dead animal, they go over and tuck in. That's food for them. A human sees a dead animal and you're like, ooh, like that. Yeah. So, do we really think that that's all we are meant to eat is meat?
We're not built, we're not designed, our bodies are not structured to be able to handle an all-meat diet.
Yeah.
It's just anatomically wrong.
Yeah. Well, the last time I ate my roadkill, I took it home to cook it first.
You did?
Yeah. I didn't eat it off the ground. So, look, if anybody, I mean, what do we do? And what do we believe? And again, I'm not pulling out the science here, but I have read a lot about different nutrition studies over my decades. I don't consider myself a nutritionist. It's not what I do. I don't want to be the kind of personal trainer that's up on the high horse preaching about nutrition, but it's come up, and so that's why we're doing this show. But, for those of you that haven't watched, what do we do ourselves and what do we believe in? We believe in a modified Mediterranean diet, which is really just a diet that has a little bit of everything, It's got a bit of legumes, it's got fruit, it's got a little bit of grains, unprocessed, unrefined. It's got all the vegetables in there. Yep. We avoid overconsumption on anything. It's got meat, fish, poultry, nuts. And then what we do is we intermittent fasting. We do intermittent fasting, so that means that we generally only eat in an 8-hour window, and we look at the amount of meat that we eat, roughly the size of our palm. Yep. To make up the amount of meat, and then the rest of it is vegetables, legumes, fruit, nuts, and trying to get a variety, trying to get those 50 different varieties of food groups in a week, which means, coconut oil, if you cook with coconut oil, then there's one of your food groups. If you then cook with butter, there's 2 food groups. Yep. If you have some mixed nuts with 5 different types of nuts in it, there's 7 food groups, Have 2 or 3 different types of meat in a week, and so on and so forth. Anything else you want to add to that, Kat?
We also try and have like a vegetarian day or block, just to give our digestive system that rest from digesting meat,
too,
So that's a really good thing that we like to do as well. We just try to have an all-inclusive kind of balance to it all, It doesn't need to be one way or the other. To best support your body and even your gut microbiome.
Your butt.
Your butt. Well, in a way, it's your butt. You can think about it. Having the variety is the best.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And then the other thing that we do is, we actively are aware of what processed and refined foods are, and I don't not eat them ever. Like, I love an ice cream or a bit of chocolate as a treat, as a cheat meal, but I am so aware of that not being in my daily existence. I'm so aware of it.
And like a 90-10 kind of percentage,
I'm really, really conscious of, we're not on one of these crazy diets where we're these ridiculous health freak personal trainers that don't ever have any fun, as people put it. We do still allow ourselves to have some fun, but we're just conscious about it, and I honestly believe that is the smartest way to eat. We've tried. I don't know if you did. Did you try the paleo diet?
No,
you didn't. Yeah,
no,
that was before you and Yanni were together. Yeah. So Yanni, Richard, and me did the paleo diet, which is an extreme way of eating, for a while, and we all got gut problems. We all had problems with it. And then I looked into keto, and as soon as I looked into keto or veganism or the carnivore diet or anything, my alarm bells just go off. It just says extreme diet. Doesn't include a lot of things that I want to eat, and I just look at, like, if I see a piece of fruit that looks nice, I'll eat it. I'm not gonna say, oh no, it's got carbs. I'm not gonna eat the carbs. And if I feel like a piece of sourdough bread, which I do once in a blue moon, I always regret it afterwards because it makes me feel bloated. But I'll eat it if I feel like it. Anything you want to add, Cal?
Just one last thing I'll add. I don't know where I'm looking at the moment. I'll add that if you're looking into, like, the carnivore diet, or you're going into trying a completely different diet that you're on because of gut issues, so your IBS, bloating, all these kind of things, you got to have a look at what's actually going on, because just changing your diet is a band-aid fix. It's not going to fix the actual issue that's causing those things. So for people out there who are suffering these issues, like, you need to look further in at what is going on in your gut, because once you start removing food groups, your gut microbiome, it changes. And then if you try to add those food groups back in after a prolonged period, you're going to have more problems, because you're going to have less bacteria that can digest that type of food. So for the carnivore diet, and specifically, we have special bacteria and enzymes in our intestines that break down and get the protein and all the nutrients out of these plants. If you're not eating any vegetables at all, you're going to lose a lot of that bacteria. I mean, it's like a garden. What you feed, it flourishes. Yeah. So you've got to be really, really cautious at what you're eating, and make sure it's not just a band-aid fix to approach to trying to these
Yeah,
gut issues. It's very important.
Yeah, if I think one of the first things that people need to look at is the idea of cultivating a healthy microbiome.
Yes.
And like the best things that you can do, like the best way to get started, if you want to know how do I get started with this, is remove alcohol, remove refined sugar and refined carbohydrate, and add fermented foods. So add your sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha are our favorites. There's so many, and there's a good book you can get. Bone broths as well. Bone broths are a big one. You can get a book called Nourishing Traditions. I can't remember who the author was, but it just teaches you these basic recipes that have really been lost in modern day. If you only need to go back 100 or 200 years, and they were common practice through so many different cultures around the world, was bone broths and fermented foods. And if you start with that and see what that does to your digestion and your overall health, then go from there.
And if you do want to know anything more about the gut, there's an amazing book where I learned a lot and got a lot of understanding called 10% Human. And I know you've read that by Dr. Alana.
Yeah, Alana someone. If you check out 10% Human, it'll be there.
It's mind-blowing. So check it out.
Yeah, 10% Human, if you didn't know, we are literally only 10% human.
Yeah.
What makes up my skin and my bones and my hair and everything in here is actually only 10% of what's in here. And the other 90% is bacteria, flora and fauna. Wrap your head around that, because it's the truth. And our gut has more of it than anywhere else. The human gut has up to 4,000 different species of bacteria in there. And it's different in everybody. And if that's out of whack, then your whole health is going to be out of whack. So have a look into it. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Yanni will be back with us on Monday. Have an awesome weekend. And try doing something different this weekend for your health. Maybe if you've watched this and you're thinking, oh man, maybe I could go one weekend without drinking or one weekend without eating chocolate or something. Give it a try and see how you go. See you soon.
See ya.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.